The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
Welcome to Open 2.0. I'm your host, Jasmine Medina. In recent years, the art of spoken word poetry has allowed many young people to have a voice in today's society. With his raw and intellectual style, Danny Matos has proven to be a major voice in the spoken word scene. Please welcome Danny Matos. So nice to have you on our show. Thank you for coming. So before we start, could you tell the audience what exactly is spoken word poetry?
It's hard to define, but it's anything. When you write something and it's I don't want to say poetic, but when you write something and you speak it aloud, you know, it becomes some sort of poetry. So to me, that's what it is. It's just the written word spoken aloud.
So how exactly did you get involved in spoken word?
In high school, I was very into hip hop, but more so the less subject matter, but more so just the way the words were and the lyrics and you know how you combine words and just words in general. So I was always into words, and that's what really got me into it. And then as the years went on, it was something that I wanted to do, but I just didn't do it until recently. But it was mostly a very big hip-hop influence, mostly because that's what I was exposed to. I wasn't necessarily exposed to spoken word. Had I been, then maybe that would have been a bigger influence also, but that's what really got me into it.
Well, so it's very impressive that you've been performing for such a short time and you already have such a strong following. I find that impressive. And did anyone in particular inspire you to start sharing your work?
Like I said, it was very much hip-hop influence. So, you know, there's various hip-hop artists that inspired me to do it only because of their ability to really use words in a way that I admired. So in terms of poets or well-known poets, not necessarily, but in terms of hip-hop artists, yeah, there have been a few people that have inspired me to do so.
And as you mentioned before we started the show, that the vulnerability of performing never actually goes away, but what have you done to sort of deal with the anxiety that you might face when performing?
I think about notable people in history. You know, you have, you know, people like Martin Luther King, and you have people like, you know, Malcolm X and Tupac and those people. It's just the price you pay for being open. That's just the price you pay. As soon as you open your mouth, you're subjected to I guess criticisms or praises or people's opinion. And for me personally, I've done a lot of work on, and I'm still doing work on just detaching from that. Because if you marry yourself to that too much, you know, you lose why you're doing it in the first place. You know,
like no matter what you do, it's always going to be there.
Exactly. As soon as you put yourself out there, you know, that's it. You know, there's no turning back, and that's just something you have to learn to detach yourself from. Otherwise, that'll eat away at you, and then you won't ever remember why you started doing this in the first place.
Yes. And many people have described your style as very raw and in your face, but how do you personally describe your poetic style?
Honest, you know, and I guess true to me, and it's for me. I write for myself, and I hope that it connects. But it's mostly, I guess, honest and life through my eyes. I try not to. I try to draw from my experience and try not to write about things that I don't necessarily have any vision on. You know, so it's really personal to me, and I just hope that someone else gets it. But sometimes I have this fear of being misunderstood, because sometimes you just don't know if someone's going to understand what you're saying, because it's like yours, you know. But for me personally, it's just very honest.
Yes, and what advice would you give to those who have those same feelings of anxiety as you do, who are thinking about pursuing spoken word?
You just got to do it, because you're going to have anxiety without doing it, and you're going to have anxiety with doing it. So nothing's going to really change. So, I mean, if you don't do it, the anxiety is not going to go away, and then it's actually even worse, because that pang is going to always be there.
Yeah.
And you're going to always see other people doing it, and you're going to say, I know I could do this, I know I want to do this, but why am I not allowing myself to do this? So you just really have to just put yourself out there and find a really good support system also, because that's important. Because you need to have people who not necessarily understand everything you're saying, but really support you in what you're doing, because it gets tough sometimes.
One thing that I found interesting when I was reading about you was that you were given the title of Poetry Idol in 2013. What is it like to be considered a Poetry Idol? That's a pretty hefty title to have, I would think.
Yeah, it was a cool competition. It meant a lot to me because I had just started in November of 2012, and I saw the posting for the Poetry Idol, and it meant a lot to me in terms of, it doesn't matter when you start something, as long as you really, really apply yourself and put yourself forward in the best way possible, good things that come from that. So aside from winning, because, winning is cool, but for me, it really showed me that it really doesn't matter how long you've been doing something, as long as you just go for it, then it's yours to get, so.
And why do you think so many people are attracted to what you have to say and what's in your poetry?
Part of me, I don't know, but another part is, I guess because they see that it's genuine, and that I'm not, I'm okay with being vulnerable, and I'm okay with expressing that, like, I'm not always confident, and I'm no different than anybody else, and I guess maybe, hopefully, they see part of me in them. So that's what attracts, them to me. Great.
And obviously 2013 was a big year for you with you winning Poetry Idol. But what are some of your future plans for 2014?
I'm in the New Eurekan Poets Cafe. I'm in their Grand Slam finals. So with 4 other amazing poets. So hopefully something happens there. It would be cool to win there and be on their slam team. But more importantly, I have a book that I just came out with, but I've also been starting to do music too. It's just really going to more shows, and I want to travel with it now too. Maybe some schools too, but I really want to get the general public interested, because it's very easy to get your peers and stuff to like your stuff, but I want to get that person on the street that doesn't know me to come to a show and really, I guess, fill a show the way music does and other genres do. I feel that poetry can do that also.
Great.
So that's what I want to do.
I'm sure you'll do well with all of your pursuits.
Yeah.
And do you have a website where fans can view your work or reach out to you?
Sure. It's just DannyMatos.com, DannyMatos.com. And there I have my Gmail contact, my Instagram, and my Facebook there. It's a very general site. I'm working on building it up, but that's a good platform to start.
Great. Well, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, Danny Matos will perform on our Open 2.0 stage.
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Being a dad can be tough.
No. What do you mean she's not coming?
When's the fairy princess coming?
Any minute now.
But when you're willing to do anything...
It is I, Cruz Zinkelpel. Okay, time for cake.
It's always worth it.
I know it's really you, Drew. I'm just pretending for the other kids.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Adopting a new pet is a rewarding experience. And Shelter Pets makes Super Pets. Your new best friend will steal your heart, bring you happiness, and enrich your life for years to come. You can make a difference in the life of an animal. Adopt and bring home a Shelter Pet today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Welcome back. Here to perform on our Open 2.0 stage is Danny Matos.
The Hunger Games wasn't just a movie on a screen. There are hierarchies everywhere in America that are barely ever seen. The 1% have come prepared. If you listen closely, you can hear them saying, "Our money makes the laws and influences the policies." So we can watch the monkeys waste off when they lose due to poverty, and since we can no longer physically possess people because they'll say that's illegal and inhumane, we can still oppress them if we inundate them with rules and games like create the word economy when we know to us that means we want the green. Deny the truth to every eye, disguise the genocide, call it business, enterprise. We won't show how kids shoot kids every day, but when cop shoots kid, we'll market it on commercial displays so that people can learn to lose faith and push back until they fill up more cages. They won't know they're being played. We can portray back-to-back crime on TV and show them cry. Pump the hate into their brains, blame the race, utter lies, distract them with some hope, make them part of our cause, then declare war, drop them bombs, then tell them ease the pain, give them liquor, give them bongs, on their corners though not too far, show them glitter, give them loans, because you're not in unless you own, and only when they're bitter give them psalms. Squash their dreams, give them jobs. Can't say how far ovulation should go, so we can label kids learning disabled. Population control. Teach them talk, but to never question. Change their history, make them lessons. Make their history for hidden agendas. We know they hate change, so we can manufacture this image of stability. If they run long enough on the hamster wheel, reward them with pensions. Their heart has been ripped from their core at some point, so we can build them malls and stores to fill the void. Create multiple religions. Wrap them in convictions. They'll argue over specifics and end up mentally imprisoned. Make Jesus divine. Don't tell them he's human. Don't let them know they could do as he did. Establish this illusion. Kill their ambition. Tell them they were born with sin. Program them to expect a loss before they ever even begin. Let them think they're meant to follow. They won't budge. Just in case, put crosses in every place they could look above to remind them of what would happen if they chose to use their tongue, like Lenin, King, Christ, Gandhi, Pac, Medgar Evers, Lincoln, Kennedy. Uphold superficial standards when they fail. Prescribe pills because they're frail. Teach them forgive, but don't ever forget. If they resent each other, they won't progress. Keep disease alive to grow the money trees. Approve only the drugs that will never fully bring them up to speed. Build plush hospitals so they can die comfortably. We know they'll compare, so we can Photoshop desire. They'll always look outside for what can never fill inside them. Distract them from the human trafficking with Hollywood's newest casting. Create a modern-day caste system. Take away their connections. Give them computers. Establish their obsession with predicting the future. Groom them to become the biggest consumers. When they achieve, hand them entitlement, greed, house, even degrees. They'll keep counting until they're better. Competition will end them altogether. They'll never know what they see isn't world news. They'll never know it's scripted and shown to keep them in whirlpools of dying, riots, cameras, and lights till they're mindless, whirlpools of violence that incite compliance. They'll never know we bake it, make it, until they take what we're supplying. They'll just continue living like lobsters, waiting to die as nothing more than game for our hunger. See, America has an insatiable appetite.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much
for having
coming
me. I
on our
appreciate
show.
it.
I'm sure that this will not be the last time that people will know about you.
Mm.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. We'll see you here next time for more Open 2.0.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants.
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year.